So this Seunghan situation has been talked to death already, and I really don't like making YouTube videos if people have made the same YouTube videos and I'm sitting here talking about the same thing. So I did a live stream on my channel talking about the situation, and I was just going to leave it at that because everything that has been said could have been said already. And once again, I don't like making YouTube videos unless if I'm adding some form of substance to the situation. But I was just really thinking about it, and I think I want to talk about the things that fans can do to prevent this from happening and hopefully being able to hold SM accountable for their actions. So TLDR, I feel like we all already know what happened, but if you are not a K-pop stan, or if you don't know, there are so many videos describing the entire situation. But basically a member of a K-pop boy group named Rise, his name is Seunghan, got kicked out of the group because he previously, before being in the group, had a girlfriend and smoked cigarettes. Now, if you are in a K-pop stan, this sounds psychotic. If you are a K-pop stan, this sounds psychotic, but it also makes sense because if you know what? Let me just describe how the K-pop industry works. So if you are a K-pop stan or if you're not a K-pop stan and you're shocked as to why this happened, I can give you some insight to why you shouldn't really be as shocked, unfortunately. The way the K-pop industry markets these humans is by not marketing them as humans. Even the term idol is putting someone so far up high on a pedestal. Idols are to be worshipped, right? Idols seem untouchable. In America, I don't call Megan Thee Stallion an idol. You can describe someone as an idol, like an idol as I look up to them, but idol is not in their job description. They are an artist. Megan Thee Stallion is an artist. Beyonce is an artist. Olivia Rodrigo is an artist. Yes, a lot of people hold famous people up on a pedestal, but when you put idol in somebody's job title, you are treating them not like a human and like an entity of somebody who should be worshipped and can't do anything wrong. When you remove human from this person, you also remove them acting like a human and doing things that normal humans would do. Hence why, there are so many examples, but I made a whole video talking about treating K-pop idols like babies, right? Infantilizing, I'm pretty sure that's the word. And a lot of people were super upset when Jungkook, age 27 or 26, whatever, he's pushing 30 and now he's in the army, made a song talking about sex. And so many people were trying to be like, oh my gosh, he doesn't know anything, which one, I was talking to my friend about this. If my fans were taking every opportunity to call me a virgin, I'd be a little pissed. This man is almost 30 years old. He's had sex before. He's done all these things before. He's had a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whoever before. But K-pop stans, and especially K-nets, i.e. people in Korea who are more familiar with the K-pop industry and grew up all their life listening to K-pop and with the K-pop industry, is used to and has normalized the way these K-pop idols market and present their idols. So they are more familiar with and expect K-pop idols not to have ever dated anyone or had sex or the possibility of getting married or having kids or smoking or drinking or doing anything that would make them human. Which is why when you're somebody like me who had been listening to K-pop since 2015 and became a stan in 2020, I'm getting used to all of these things. I don't know how the K-pop industry markets these people, but what I am used to and what I do know is that they're humans. So I am not delusional, and I am not subscribing to the way that these K-pop the way that these K-pop companies are trying to push these idols as not being humans, as not knowing anything, as these entities that exist for you, which goes into the second thing. I'm going to make a video about this. It's funny, I've had this video planned for 2 years talking about how just the K-pop industry markets these idols and how these idols don't exist for you. But Seungkwan from 17 came out with an Instagram post, and I screenshotted it, but he literally said the same thing. You don't have the right to easily involve yourself in our story. This goes not just for us, but for other artists too. We are not your commodities. I hope you don't think you can just use and enjoy us however you like. So that is the translation. But I also saw another translation where he said, we are not your items, i.e. we don't exist for you. And he made that post, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about Seungkwan. These K-pop idols do not exist for you, but they market them as existing for you. The companies market these idols as existing for you. So when it does come out that a K-pop idol is dating somebody, or it does come out that a K-pop idol is doing something that you don't want them to do, these stans get pissed. These stans become psychotic, or they already are psychotic. But these stans do psychotic actions, i.e. sending death wreaths to the company where the idols work at, or telling these idols to off themselves, or doing XYZ, doing all these things. So hopefully you can understand a little more as to why the stans are acting like this. I'm not making it right. I just want you to understand. The K-pop industry markets these idols as lifeless dolls that exist for the fans. And I've said this in so many of my K-pop commentary videos before, but the fans have way too much power, and this is an example. The fact that this person, he's a human, lost his job, lost everything because fans expressed outrage, shows that fans have too much power. And these companies are so scared of losing the fans' money, because they don't give a shit about the fans. They give a shit about the fans' wallets. And I get it. It's a company. All they care about is money, right? I'm not saying it's right, but it's a company, so I understand. But it's ironic because the K-pop companies think that the only fans that spend money are fans that are in Korea. Yet these K-pop companies are trying so hard to make K-pop global. And obviously, if the only fans you give a fuck about are K-nets and the only fans you care about are fans that live in Korea, why are you trying to push the K-pop industry in America so much? Why are you writing lyrics that BTS didn't even sign off of and didn't even know what the lyrics were, and making them market songs fully in English in America and try and get Grammys? Why are you doing tours globally? Why are you doing all these things globally if you actually don't think that global fans spend money? And I'm pretty sure there are analytics and stuff of how much money K-pop fans in Korea spend versus globally. And obviously, yeah, K-pop is becoming more popular now. So sure, back then, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, yeah, like K-pop made most of its money from Korean fans in Korea. But I'm pretty sure now, if globally K-pop fans stopped spending their money, your company would take a big fucking hit, and you'd be pretty upset about that. It's so funny too, like, you can tell that these K-pop companies only think that Korean fans spend money, or I'll just refer to them as K-nets. K-nets spend money and everywhere else doesn't, because of the amount of shit that they get. The amount of fan signs, it's so funny. As soon as I said this, Wano is doing a fan sign, like globally, he's doing one in New York. Thank fucking God. But the fan signs that they get, the pop-up stores that they get, even in Japan too, but the merch that they get, the merch that global fans get, and just in America, speaking from a person that lives in America, it's fucking awful. And you might be saying, well, Indigo, it's K-pop and they're in Korea. And I'm like, okay, they have so much money. They have the resources to do these fan meets and all this stuff everywhere else. They just choose not to. Basically, what I'm saying here is that if you want to be global, you're going to have to cater to your global fans. And these companies have the money and resources to do such things, because if you want K-pop to be so global but you don't include the global fans, then the global fans are going to be like, well, why am I still supporting, and why do I even care if I'm putting this time and effort in and I'm not getting a reflection of the time and effort that I'm putting in? And then you're going to lose a shit ton of global fans and lose your money. And they choose not to because they think that we don't spend money. Like, why has EXO been on tour for like fucking 10 years and they haven't come to America in those 10 years? What the and the only time we got EXO is with Super M, bro. And even that too. SM, you want to fucking market Super M so much and push them in America? But I thought you didn't give a fuck about us and our money, right? But for more serious matters, this is genuinely inhumane. And I don't give a fuck what it says on that contract. You can't date, whatever. You are a human. You are not an entity, and you are not an idol. You are not a person to be worshipped. You are not a god, because you are a human and you are a person. Getting fired for dating somebody, getting fired for doing something that you did not do in the time frame of having the job makes no fucking sense. Getting fired for dating someone and smoking a cigarette previous to being in the K-pop group you're in is inhumane. And it breaks my heart when these idols are forced to come out with these stupid ass apologies, because I'm looking at it from a foreign perspective. But there are a lot of these K-pop idols are culturally Korean, born and raised in Korea. So a lot of them might think that they did something wrong. Seunghan might think that he did something wrong, and that breaks my heart. Karina might think that she actually did something wrong dating that guy, and that breaks my fucking heart. Because the last thing I want K-nets to do, and obviously I'm not saying all K-nets in general, because some K-nets are normal, but the last thing I want K-nets to do, and people in general, K-pop stans to do, is brainwash these people into thinking and gaslight these people into thinking that being a human and doing whatever the fuck they want is wrong, because they do not exist for you guys. I need you guys to know that Han and Karina and Seunghan and Bangchan and Jungkook and RM and Yoongi existed before you knew them. They existed before they became K-pop idols. They existed before you, and they will exist after you. Their life is not contingent to you. They do not exist for you. And I think one of the reasons why that pisses you off is because you exist for them. They do not know you exist. They do not care about you. They cannot care about you because they don't know who the fuck you are. They do not know you. They don't exist for you. Just because your life 24/7 revolves around them and your life is them doesn't mean it's the fucking same. Vice versa. This has happened time and time again. And I made a whole entire YouTube video about this, talking about idols dating and getting kicked out for dating. What is the problem? Because I said that the problem was the K-pop stans in that dating video, which it is, but the problem more is the source, and the source are the K-pop companies. Because if the K-pop companies did not market these idols like this, and if the K-pop companies did not listen to the fans that were being psychotic and the loud majority, whatever you think, if it's the loud majority or the loud minority, unfortunately, I think for K-nets, it's the loud majority of you need to kick them out and they shouldn't be a K-pop idol anymore because they're dating. If these companies didn't listen to them and kept them in, and you nip these disgusting behaviors in the butt, and you do not have them continue by not denouncing them, then I don't think this would be a thing. I'm glad I waited to make this video, because the whole situation with Hybe and their documents coming out of them literally talking shit, body shaming K-pop idols, talking shit about K-pop idols, pulling a Drake and saying Stray Kids is short. And just it's funny, you are talking shit about idols and other companies that your idols are friends with. Changbin woke up God knows how early in the morning to go film one dance video with Yeonjun when he wasn't on schedule. You're talking shit about a K-pop idol who your K-pop idol is friends with. It doesn't make any sense. But you see, if these official staff members are looking up fan fiction and talking shit about idols, if these official staff members are acting like this, of course the K-pop stans are going to act like this because it comes from the source. The K-pop stans are reflecting the companies. Have these companies ever actually denounced this behavior? Have these companies ever taken action against sasaengs? They haven't. And a lot of times they pay the sasaengs to either take pictures or not leak information. But have these companies actually denounced this behavior? No. SM has said we are going to take legal action for people that are saying bad things about Rise, but they're talking about OT6 Rise, not OT7 Rise. They should have said we're going to take legal action against people sending death wreaths and putting them in front of our company. Because to me, if you send a death wreath to me and I'm not alive, that's a fucking personal threat on my life. And we're going to court. Get a good fucking lawyer. Why do you think those specific K-nets who do those things are at a place where they feel comfortable enough to send death wreaths and tell these idols to kill themselves? The shit that's going on with Jessie right now, she reposted a comment she got on her story, and the translation was, the news should be that Jessie killed herself. Why do you think these people are comfortable enough to say these things and do these things and send trucks to these companies? If I'm 5 years old and I curse and my parents don't tell me that cursing is bad, I'm going to continue to curse. If I'm 5 years old and I start cursing and my parents yell at me and tell me cursing is bad, I'm going to stop cursing. If these K-pop stans do this and the companies nipped it in the butt immediately and said this is bad and took legal action and started throwing people in jail and started getting things saying you cannot come within 50 feet of these idols and this, that, and the third, it would have fucking stopped, or it would have been way less normalized as it is now. And to me, since the companies are the source and they're the problem, they're also the solution. Just like how K-nets and those specific K-nets who are doing those things, I want to make it clear I don't want to group all K-nets, because there are obviously some K-nets that don't tell idols to kill themselves and have this thing and send death wreaths. And also it's not only K-nets, because I posted this on my YouTube community page, and I'm pretty sure it was in Mandarin, I think, but it was somebody talking about this situation just being so delusional and scary and psychotic and being like K-pop idols shouldn't date and stuff like that. So I am talking about specifically the people that are holding these beliefs and sending the death wreaths and telling people to go kill themselves and all that stuff. But just like how those specific K-pop stans have no consequences for their actions, the companies also have no consequences for their actions. And I think this is where change can happen. And this is why they continue to do this shit. You need to hit these companies where it hurts the most, and that's money. Once again, these companies actually don't give a shit about your well-being and you specifically as a fan. Overall, right? They care about your wallet and they care about your money. And it's so funny because while K-pop is becoming global, you are either a K-pop stan and you know everything, or because K-pop is also so sheltered, you know nothing. There's like literally no in between. And it's to these companies' benefits, right? It's global kind of, but also you either know about it and you know the fuck shit that they do, or you don't. And they're not getting picked up by like media outlets, by like NBC or CNN. Maybe you'll have the occasional, talking about the K-pop industry documentary on YouTube, but it's not like trending news that you see when you turn on your like TV and you put on your local news station. It's not really a big thing outside of in the K-pop industry. And if you're a K-pop fan, of how shisty and straight up shitty that these K-pop idols are treated by the companies and the fans, and what is normalized and what is expected of them, and how they're not treated like humans, and how they're treated to exist just for their fans. But fortunately, I forgot what news outlet it was, but a reputable, I don't know if it was NBC or something, but their Twitter account was DMing K-pop stans asking to interview them and talk about the situation. D'Angelo Wallace, somebody who doesn't really talk about K-pop at all, made a video talking about this. I need Curtis Connor to talk about this. I need commentary YouTubers I need everybody to be talking about this. The more this is talked about, the more people will turn their head and learn about this. And the more people know about this, the more of a chance that SM and other K-pop companies are going to start to be held accountable for their actions. Speaking of consequences and repercussions, Hani from New Jeans, she's Australian. Australia don't play about that shit. Apparently, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if it was the government, but maybe it was the government. It was basically a thing where it was like, you cannot treat Hani like this because she is Australian. And we have like laws and shit over here that prevent you from doing that. So we're fucking looking into that shit. Because here's the thing. These K-pop companies, you could pull that shit in Korea. But you want to be global? That shit not gonna work nowhere else. But I need you guys to understand, for this to work, we have to come together. And when I first heard about the SM boycott, I was kind of like, whatever. Because I think you guys need to understand how many people need to come together and participate in this for this to work. Because this is people versus a company. It can't just be 100,000 people stop buying merch, 100,000 people stop listening to Rise, 100,000 people stop following Rise. It needs to be in the millions in order for there to be at least a small dent in the company, for the company to notice. I literally typed in Seunghan on YouTube, and apparently SM, I don't know if this is right, allegedly, SM is buying followers for Rise because a shit ton of people were unfollowing Rise. So these companies are so big and make so much money every single day that if only a small portion of us try and participate in this, nothing is going to fucking happen. If we really want change, this needs to be covered by every media news outlet. This needs to be covered and talked about by like all commentary YouTubers that aren't into K-pop. This needs to be trending every single fucking day. This needs to get off K-pop Twitter and get on Black Twitter. This needs to be on anime TikTok. This needs to be everywhere. This needs to be talked about by everyone. I feel so fucking bad because the other members of Rise are now getting hit with this. Like, I wish we could just affect the company and not Rise. My poor baby Shotaro, bro. Oh my fucking God. I actually feel so bad. But you actually need to stop buying merch. And these companies too, like K-pop Nara, they're no longer buying Rise stuff, which is great. That is where it needs to happen. Once again, I know that K-pop stans that don't live in Korea aren't used to this and haven't normalized this because they haven't grown up with the K-pop industry all their life or most of their life. And they don't see artists and celebrities as existing for them for the most part, because a lot of you bitches are fucking psychotic, right? But once again, if you're coming from the Western music industry or any other music industry, you're not like, you don't see Megan Thee Stallion not being allowed to date, or for the most part, people telling her to go kill herself because she has a boyfriend, or people being like, I'm not going to listen to her music anymore because she's dating, and no, but she exists for me and she doesn't know what sex is. That's not a thing here. That's not a normalized thing here. And you were never under this illusion, so it's easier to have this viewpoint. But in order for this shit to stop, we need to come together and make a change. I don't know what the end goal is, if I'm being honest. I would say Seunghan getting put back in Rise, but at this point, I feel like the damage is done. And me personally, if I was Seunghan, seeing how quick my company put me on hiatus for this shit and dropped me, or technically he left on his own volition. But even then, walking outside and seeing death wreaths and my company not doing anything, my company not figuring out who did it and taking legal action, I wouldn't even want to work there with them anymore. So it's really about how Seunghan feels. I think we also forget that these K-pop idols are humans and have feelings too. So it's about whatever Seunghan actually wants to do, not what he's pressured into do or what he's forced into do. I don't know what the end goal is. I mean, overall, the end goal is that these idols get treated like humans and they can do whatever they want without insane amounts of backlash and delusion. We need to keep talking about this, and people need to keep hearing about this, and this needs to be trending. So I just hope Seunghan is okay, and I hope his mental health is okay. I didn't really talk about it that much, but I hope Jessie is okay, because it's really heart-wrenching to me, the comments that are left under these humans' accounts. I don't understand how, and I understand how, but it's just so disgusting how we've gotten to a point where we're comfortable to tell people to take their own lives, send trucks, send death wreaths, send death threats, all of these things to humans. And I think we forget that these humans have feelings. And once again, we're pushing what we want onto them because they're K-pop idols and they exist for us. And they're supposed to fucking shuck and jive and fucking do whatever for us when they're humans. And you don't understand, but words have an effect on people. And like my friend said, you tell these idols to kill themselves, and God forbid they do, and then what? Because if that Seunghan post was about Seunghan, given what Seunghan went through, I don't even know how to end this video. I don't even want to be like nice, because if you're telling people to go kill themselves on the internet, go fuck yourself. These people and these companies need to be held accountable for their actions. And for that to happen, we have to come together and be on the same page.